All of our conversations are good. All right, so you've been making calls. Awesome. And you've scheduled 4 appointments so far. However, they've either canceled or ghosted you. So you haven't met with anybody yet. So we don't have anybody in the funnel yet. Okay. All I'm saying is, what if you tried a different approach and all 4 kept the appointment? They're not listing appointments. They're appointments to see their home so you could potentially bring an offer and an opportunity for you to build a foundation to follow up from, capture, connect, convert. It's an opportunity to capture all of their contact information. Now I have a lead. It's an opportunity to connect. I'm going to convey that I care about you. You can trust me and I know what I'm doing, right? And it's also an opportunity to look for motivation. Now, if I see motivation on the appointment, I can convert to, John, after meeting with you, it sounds like you are still interested in moving to Tampa. It sounds like you are going to put your home back on the market eventually. And just curious, if I could show you how I could sell your home for more money in less time, would you be interested in us getting back together so I could show you how I could do that? Now you have 4 opportunities that are either going to turn into listing appointments now, or maybe, so this is lead generation. You made the appointment, capture, connect, convert. They're not ready. And I'm just going to systematically follow up with them until we get to that point where they're serious about selling their home. And because I met with them face-to-face and I followed up systematically, I've had an opportunity to create emotional proximity.
So soften the approach.
Yeah. Now, eventually you may go back to focusing on converting those calls into listing appointments versus appointments. But for now, my advice to you would be get face-to-face with as many people as possible.
So the past 3 days I've been door knocking. All of my flyers and door knockers came in on Tuesday. So I literally went out Tuesday, Wednesday, yesterday.
Okay.
And just because I needed more conversations, I needed more quality conversations.
Yep.
20 conversations where 2 sentences go back and forth don't count for me. So I needed more in depth. So that was where I was at. I was very frustrated because cancellations, lack of quality conversations. So I'm like, I need to pivot and do something quickly.
Yeah.
So the past 3 days I've been doing it.
There you go. There you go. Larry, before I come to you, let me go to Clarissa's question. John, did that help?
Yes.
Okay, good. By the way, I knew you and I would be having that conversation. Right? And that's a compliment. Please take it like that. All right. All right, so we're going to use the GROW model to talk about goals. And my goal for 2022 is to list 24 homes. So 24 seller listings. And my reality is today is May, whatever it is, and I have eight listings so far. Now, in order to be tracking 24, I should be at 10. So I'm not off goal by that much, but the gap between where I want to be, that's the goal, and where I currently am, that's the reality. The gap is 2. Cool. Now, what am I going to do to close the gap? And what's the one thing that I can do that I'm currently not doing, that if I were to start doing it, it would move me closer to my goal? Maybe my current reality is I have 5 listings. The goal, I should be at 10. Now I've got a gap of 5. And is my strategy going to be to close that gap by taking 3 listings every month versus 2 listings every month over the next 5 months in order to close the gap? Or am I going to close that gap in 1 month? In other words, I'm going to take 7 listings in the next month in order to close the gap. Now, I would tell you, you have a better possibility. Siri's talking to somebody. You have a better possibility of closing the gap if you use the strategy of I'm going to close it in the next 30 days versus I'm going to close it by adding 1 new additional listing every month for the next 5 months. Your job is to go get 5 extra listings in the next 30 days. When I was in coaching with John Prescott back in 2006, we were about a year, it would have been 2007. We were about a year into the shift. And John sat down with me and we determined how many listings we needed in our inventory in order to hit our goals. It was 70. That was the number we needed. The reason it was 70, by the way, is because we had gone from a market where in order to sell 2 listings a month, you needed to take 3 listings a month. Take 3, 2 will sell. Pretty much like the market you're in right now. And in a very short period of time, we went to a market where in order to sell 2 listings, you needed to take 20. Which meant in order for us to hit our goal, we needed 70 listings. Now, when John and I had this conversation, I had 20. That was my inventory. I thought that was pretty good, by the way, until I realized I needed 70. And my question to him was, how long should it take me to go from 20 to 70? And his answer, well, like a good coach, his answer was, what do you think the answer is? And because I didn't have the right answer, he helped me by saying, you have 30 days. Take 50 listings in the next 30 days. By the way, we got to 70 listings.
How many did you take in that 30 days?
It wasn't 50. It wasn't 50. And Audrey, I honestly don't remember, but I want to say it took us about 90 days to get here. Okay. By the way, I said this at the team meeting the other day. It's because of two reasons. I want you to write this down. Number one, I had to. In order to be able to pay my bills and support my family, that's what it was going to take. I had to. And the second reason that we did is because I chose to. Pierre, that's the conversation you and I had when we met in my office, right? I had to, and I chose to. If I decided to get back into production today, and for those of you who care, I'm not. I say that a lot. If I decided to, that's just another way of me saying, if I were you, if I decided to get back into production today, I would list 10 homes every single month because I would choose to. That's it. Now, for those of you who have been trying to get 2 and 3 listings a month and haven't been able to do that, and you're hearing me say I would take 10 listings because I would choose to, that might make you a little unhappy with me, right? You might think, you arrogant SOB, and I'm okay with that. You know what? Get mad at me. I'm okay with that. I really mean this. Get mad at me and go list more homes.
It's actually inspiring. I really, like, the confidence level that you have is just amazing. It's actually very inspiring for me.
You know what? Here's the thing. Confidence. I'm walking, right? I know I can. I'm choosing to. I'm walking back and forth. I don't have to think about it. It just happens because I choose to. Larissa.
So I was hoping you would take me back to that conversation on Wednesday morning and Wednesday during the team meeting that you and Mike had. Numbers just don't play around in my head, so I don't do it abstractly. I don't know if you could write it down.
So Michael, would you help me do this for Clarissa? Would you get ready to write this down? Because I can read minds, I know where you're going. And I'm gonna interrupt you and just do this, okay? Michael, can you help me?
Sure.
All right, I want you to take 20 times 52, Michael.
So that you guys understand, that's 20 contacts, 52 weeks in a year.
Uh-huh.
Just making sure that they understand what we're talking
Yep, so it's 20 times 52. What's the number?
1040.
So 1,040. So that means Clarissa is going to have 1,040 conversations in the next 52 weeks. These are circle prospecting conversations. Ideally, they're face-to-face, not on the phone. That's why it's 20 a week, not 20 a day. It's 5 a day, 4 days a week. Or it's 4 a day, 5 days a week, or however you want to do the math. In other words, you could do it 7 days a week if you chose. It's 5 face-to-face. Madeline, the reason I stopped by today is your neighbor's home just sold for top dollar, which is great news. Our challenge now is we have buyers that are looking for homes in your neighborhood, great homes like yours. And I was wondering, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home now or in the next 6 months? Now, don't just listen to the script. Listen to how I delivered it, because timing matters, pace matters, tonality matters. I'm putting pauses in there intentionally because I want you to process what I'm saying versus trying to keep up with me if I deliver this to you really, really fast. And I'm having that conversation 20 times a week, 1,040 times a year. Now, Michael, if you would, just take that times 1%.
10.
That's 10 seller listings. If only 1% convert to a listing. And 1% is low. It's going to be more than 1%. I promise you. If it's 2%, that's 20 seller listings. If it's 3%, 30 seller listings. And it's 5 conversations a day, 4 days a week, 20 in a week. In other words, it's simple. It really, really is. And if you're not getting those numbers, it's because you're not having the conversation. So let me go back to what I said a moment ago. If I were to get back into production today, I would take 10 seller listings a month because I would choose to. I would simply figure out, the path is in the math. I would figure out how many people I need to talk to every day, every week, in order to take 10 seller listings a month. And I would go have those conversations. And I wouldn't stop until I did. In 7 years of being a team leader, I have Larry, keep your hand up because I'm coming to you. In 7 years of being a team leader, I'm held accountable to a standard of 2-10-40. I wish they would have had this when I was a real estate agent. I wish somebody would have come to me and said, John, 2-10-40. That's how you get to build. That's how you're going to build a big, successful real estate business. 2-10-40. That's it. And what that means is 2 appointments a day, 10 a week, and 40 a month. So As a team leader, I'm held accountable to a standard of 40 appointments a month. Now, again, don't hear me bragging. I want you to hear, if I can, you can. In 7 years, 7 times 12, I believe, is 84.
Yeah.
In 84 months of being a team leader, I've missed that number 3 times. Because I choose to. I figured out if I scheduled 3 appointments a day, that's 60 a month. All those no-shows, cancellations, I would still get to 40. Schedule 60, have 40. So I don't go home until I've scheduled 3 appointments. It's really simple. All right, Larry, thank you for waiting so long.
Not a problem. And it's as you're doing, it's all mindset. It's all mindset. I had a question or challenge that we have a little bit in, and I just blame you for it. And that is building this emotional proximity. I'm finding, I don't know, I assume, my clients are no different than everybody else's, and they all seem to have a ton of problems, issues. One specifically was in forbearance. So I literally spent, I'll bet I spent 7 hours with that client and the bank going through a loan modification. They're trying to get a loan modification. So because she was in forbearance, has to get it signed, and then she's going to move forward with the listing. But she needs to get this behind her, and it's a 75-year-old single woman, doesn't understand anything and doesn't trust the bank. And I'm going through all this stuff, and it's crazy, and other people, they're 2 international ladies buying a condo, first time home buyer in their mid-50s at a 55 plus property. And, they challenge everything, they protect their social security number like it's, I don't know what. I mean, it's great. We've spent so much time trying to explain the buying process here in the United States because they've owned in Europe before, but this is totally different. And when people start asking for social security number, credit cards, they're like, well, why do we have to do that? And I said, well, they're talking about loaning you a couple $100,000. They should get some information. We have great emotional proximity because of the time we're spending, but we're spending a potload of time, a potload.
Yeah. And Larry, a couple things come to mind as you're having this conversation with me. You just shared, I believe, maybe 3 different examples. Maybe there were 4. Maybe I missed one. All right. Now, you've been a part of this call for many months. And let's just go back 6 months and 24 weeks. Now, if I have a standard of 1 face-to-face appointment per day, that's 5 per week, and 24 times 5, I believe, is 120. Did I do the math on that right? I think so. Now, that means I have 120 people that I've met with face-to-face. And that means also that I have 120 that are in follow-up. The goal is to systematically follow up until we've created emotional proximity, which means when any one of these 120 gets serious about selling their property, I'm the real estate agent. I've created emotional proximity. When they think of real estate, when they have a conversation about time to list our house, who should we call? The answer is John. That guy is a pain in the butt, calls us all the time. He's super annoying, but he's our guy. We want to hire that guy because he's stayed in touch with us. So I've created emotional proximity by systematically following up once a week for the first 4 weeks. once every other week for the next 8 weeks. That's 12 if you guys 3 months. And then once a month after that. And I'm not attached to any one of these 120. I'm completely unattached. I'll go as far as saying I really don't care.
Can you do those numbers one more time?
Once a week for the first 4 weeks, once every other week for the next 8 weeks, and then once a month after that. And by the way, if you get that wrong, no big deal. I'm just giving you a model. If you don't follow it exactly, you're still going to get great results. Now, for me, in 13 years of selling real estate and listing 10 to 12 homes every single month, my number over time was 20% of this group would hire me. So if I'm Larry and I've got 120 people who are in follow-up from the last 6 months, that's 24 seller listings. Now, some of these 120 are going to take longer than 6 months to get to this point, emotional proximity. So Larry, you may have people that are in follow-up that they just haven't gotten here yet. Ready, willing, and able. All three have to exist in order for them to truly be at this point right here. They can be ready and willing, but not able. That's your forbearance person. They can be ready and willing, but not able. Next. Got that? I'm not going to spend any additional time with any one of these 120. It's follow up to the group, staying in touch. And over time, the longest it took me is 3 years and 89 calls. Yeah, 3 years and 89 calls for someone that was in this group to turn into a listing. 3 years and 89 calls. It's the Chinese bamboo tree. So you still have people that are in follow-up who will list their home with you. They just haven't yet. I promise you this works. You're going to be tempted to give up on this because you may not see the results that you want to see right away. So that drunk monkey starts telling you this really doesn't work. It worked for John, but it won't work for you. It worked in Pinellas County, but it won't work in South Florida. Like geographically, somehow the math is different in South Florida than it is in Pinellas County. I'm being sarcastic, okay? So my advice to you, Larry, is keep doing what you're doing. Go on more appointments. Talk to more people.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I had the emotional proximity because she totally trusts me. But she's got to get over that hurdle and then she's going on to the next step.
Okay, so ready, willing, and able. And just ask yourself, is this person ready? Yes. Are they willing? Yes. Are they able? No. Okay, then I'm going to keep following up until they are ready, willing, and able.
Yeah.
Hervé, coming to you next, but before I do, real quick, Audrey, yes, you had your hand up.
So during that time, when you're having these conversations, what are some of the questions, like how do you what are the motivating questions you ask? Would you not do that then to get?
Always,
Okay, so what is?
always. As you know, the market's changing.
Yeah.
Interest rates are going up. Matter of fact, interest rates today are 6%. They were 3% at one point. You know, as interest rates go up, Audrey, is your home more affordable or is it less affordable? Yeah, and you know, more people are going to be putting their home on the market and inventory is going to be greater. Inventory now is pretty much non-existent. And is it easier to sell your home when there's lots of competition or when there's no competition like there is today? Which one?
No.
No competition. So if you wait and you find out that it actually would have been better to put your home on the market today, and then you wait 6 months, because I think you told me 6 months, right? If you wait and you find out that the market's changed, there's more competition, interest rates are higher, and you can no longer afford to sell your home, how would you feel about that?
Missed opportunity.
Okay, so people are more motivated by avoiding pain than they are by going towards pleasure. So I'm going to ask harm's way questions. You know, Nick, if you said you're going to wait a year, right? And if your neighbor sells their home, your neighbor's home is foreclosed on. Is that going to cause the value of your home to go up, or is it going to cause the value to go down?
Down.
Yeah. Right. Did you know anybody who had their home foreclosed on back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10? Yeah. Could that happen again?
Yes, I could.
Could, yeah. You know, as a matter of fact, and your job is to be the local economist of choice. So do your research and know the number. As a matter of fact, X number of properties were foreclosed on in Broward County last month. Matter of fact, there are blank number of properties that are for sale currently that are distress sales. You see, most people think that that's something that doesn't even exist in today's world, and it does. So not only could it happen, it is happening. Hervé, I don't see your hand anymore. I hope you didn't go away. Maybe he had to leave.
Good morning.
There you are, sir. Talk to me.
Well, this one, two ahas. The first one was the first time I went on my home preview. It felt like it wasn't about real estate, because I was there asking the person the question about his kids, his dog, and these were the things that now I understand you build up in order to do the follow-up. But it felt nothing like a home preview, because the home preview only took 2-3 minutes. Then the 13 minutes that we did was talking. And as I left, I never understood, but that was my first aha for today. And the second aha was scheduling more appointments than needed for the day, because when I started scheduling appointments, it would go weeks where I would schedule 3 to 4 appointments and everybody's canceling. There's always something coming up. So now I understand, instead of scheduling 1 appointment for the day, schedule 3 or 4, and at least you will hit your goal of 1 for the day.
There you go.
So this was my aha for today.
Good job. There you go. All right. Do I have your permission to switch gears here? Larissa said yes, so that means I'm going to.